Hey, so as you can see by the title, today I'm going to be reviewing the Joey Packer pouch. So as you can see, this thing that I have in my hand is the Joey Packer pouch. It's made by a company called Get Your Joey, probably because it's where you can get your Joey Packer pouch. And basically this does what it says on the tin. It's a pouch that you put your packer in. So it's got a safety pin on it that you pin to like the waistband of your pants, and it just sits there in the pouch. Essentially this is just another option for a packer instead of wearing another pair of underwear or a harness. So this one that I've got today is just the classic. They do two, the classic and the ballsy. The ballsy, again, kind of does what it says in the tin. It's for packers that have larger balls. Basically, like, it's got more space at the bottom before the O-ring, because there'll need to be more room for the balls if it's got quite big balls. So as I do with all these videos, I will give you a warning. I will need to show a packer because this is for a packer and I need to show what it does and what it looks like and all that kind of thing. So this video will contain a realistic looking prosthetic penis, and it's for educational purposes to help out trans guys with packing. If you're uncomfortable with the idea of seeing a realistic looking prosthetic penis, or you're a friend or family member who knows me in real life and doesn't want to see what goes in my underwear, please click away from the video now. I'll give you like 5 seconds. Hi, you're still here. Right, so I use the Mr. Limpy with this. But I can only use the Mr. Limpy in it because it's the only packer that I have that's suitable to use with like an O-ring harness thing. The only other 2 packers that I've got are both Real Magic. One of them is 3 inches and wouldn't fit through the hole. It wouldn't work, just that kind of packer wouldn't work with a harness at all. And they have a 5 inch, but that can't be used in a harness because it's a soft version, so it's very, very fragile and you can't use O-ring harnesses and stuff in case it tears it. So this is the only option that I have, but I always use this and it's comfortable anyway. So yeah. But you could use essentially any packer as long as it's big enough and it is suitable to use in like O-ring harnesses and things. So I'll do a quick little demonstration of how you get this in there and what it does and all that kind of thing. First of all, I've got the safety pin in it, so I'll just take the safety pin out. So this has got like a little flap, you know, I'll show you up close, it's easy. So you can see this has got like a little flap and you can open that up and you can see inside. Look. So to get a packer in, it recommends that you turn this inside out and then put the shaft through the hole and have the balls position and turn it back inside out. So I think it's just so you don't strain the material or something. So yeah, now that you can actually see what happens, I'll go and sit back down and actually do it because it's a bit awkward to up doing this. Now that you actually know what I'm doing, turn it inside out. Get my limpy, put the shaft through, because you can see that's the bottom. So I'm going to put the shaft through there and then grab it and turn it back inside out. Oh, it fell out. Ah, that's an issue that I need to talk about as well. It can come a little bit loose, so you want to make sure the balls are actually sat properly. Right now they're a bit stuck. It recommends that you turn it inside out, but honestly I find that it's easier just to put it in and then put the shaft through rather than turn it inside out because, I don't know, I think it just makes it more complicated. I don't think it really does much else by turning it inside out apart from just take longer. And we're done. So that's how it looks like, it just sits in there, and that just holds it, and then this will clip to the waistband of your pants and obviously just sit in front of you like that. So I've got some pants to show you a demonstration of just clipping it on. I would show you on myself, but that would mean moving the tripod and my phone, and it's too much effort. I can do it this way, it's fine. Take your pants, and you want it obviously to sit in the middle, so like the seam, try and get it centered. So once you've used this a few times, you'll start to notice that you can see holes that you've been through before. So I would recommend trying to go back through the old holes, but I don't think it makes a massive difference if you don't, because I don't always. Sometimes if I'm in a rush, I'll just shove it on. But it is best if you do that, and then also you know that it's in the same position every time and you're not like clipping it in wonky or something. Because I have noticed that if the pin isn't like in the centre, obviously it weighs down a little bit one side and it can sort of sit a bit lopsided, and that's quite annoying, especially if you're out and you ain't got a chance to adjust it. It's kind of like you're just constantly like budging it to one side and it's a bit weird. So it could be good if you put the pin on it and like make sure that it's centered so you know where it wants to go in and where it wants to come out, so that it will be sat in the middle. Boop, one side, boop that side, then you want to go back in and go through them both. And then clip it. Da 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 da. And then it just sits there and it's attached, and you can move and it will stay attached because it's safe to pin up. So yeah, that's a quick little thing on what it is and how you use it. I do really like this. It is a lot more comfortable than wearing 2 pairs of underwear. I've never used a harness, but I've always worn a tighter pair of underwear underneath my normal boxers. But this is a lot more comfortable because you don't have like 2 waistbands digging in. If you're out for loads of hours and you're walking around, it can like get a little bit sore. Whereas with this, you really don't have to worry about it, and it's just a lot more comfortable. Also, because it's on your underwear and not like up against you being held there, it does move around a little bit, which could be a good thing or a bad thing depending on how you look at it and depending on how comfortable you are with that, because obviously when this guy moves around, it isn't pinned up against him in another pair of underwear, so you know, it's got more freedom of movement. But at the same time, if you're used to having it like sort of pinned right up against you and keeping it secure, it can feel very strange, and it definitely did for me at first. I felt like it was going to fall out, and it felt really strange at first. You get used to it and then it's fine. It also means that you don't have to wash your packer as often, because obviously your actual packer is not going to be up against you, it's not going to be touching you, so it's not going to be sort of required to be washed quite as often. Obviously still wash it every so often, even if you don't ever use it up against you again, it still needs washing, but it won't need washing as regularly. You will obviously have to wash the pouch every so often, but I'm pretty sure that it is machine washable. You can just stick it in washing machine. I don't know if you can put it in the dryer, but either way it's only small, you can leave it out to dry, it shouldn't take too long. Which has just made me realise that I actually haven't washed this yet, which when I think about it is pretty gross. But don't worry, as soon as I'm finished with this, I'll hand wash it or something and just like hang it up to dry. I would just like to point out as well, I haven't used this like every single day since I've had it, so it's not like majorly, but it is still disgusting. I should have washed it, I didn't think before now, honestly. Also, as I kind of mentioned a little bit earlier, or as you may have saw, the limpy does tend to fall out a little bit. Like when it's hanging like that, if you just wobble it around, like it doesn't fall out completely, but the front, you can see, will come loose, so you can see like the top of the base. It's not massively bad, it's normally just if you're moving around like that, see, it's already starting to fall out a little bit. And the balls are big enough and sort of go outwards enough that you know it's not going to all fall out. There's not enough space in that hole for the whole thing to fall out. So it is still secure, it's just not as secure as I'd probably like. I don't know if this is a thing that will happen to everybody. I don't know if it's just the limpy packers aren't quite as compatible. Also, this is a new pouch, they've changed it slightly. I think they've made the hole a little bit bigger, so there's a bit of elastic so you can fit smaller and bigger packers in it. I'm not sure exactly what they did to it, I never had an older version, but I don't know if it's something with the new design, or if I just got a faulty pouch, I don't know, but all I know that is that this one, it does fall out a little bit. And that was a contributing factor to my pretty bad first experience. Because the first time I used it, I'd only used it a little bit in the house, probably like for a few hours, not even a whole day. And I went out to town, and I was there for about 4 hours sort of walking around, doing stuff, getting things done. Let's just say, for the majority of that 4 hours, I looked like I had an awkward boner. Now again, I think this is probably mostly my fault, and also a combination of the fact that the limpy falls out. So I was wearing some tracky bottoms, which granted are quite tight around the crotch tracky bottoms, like you can pretty much always see some sort of bulge, no matter what position I'm in. But it doesn't always look like what this did. I felt uncomfortable. I never got any looks or anything, luckily, but I felt uncomfortable with it. I think basically what happened was, I think the safety pin wasn't in the centre exactly, so it was like on a lean a little bit. The limpy was falling out as it is now, and I also had quite tight tracky bottoms on, so I was constantly trying to adjust, like pulling my t-shirt down, and I ended up being that guy that walks around with his hands down his pants, because I kept like putting my hands down to sort of like keep adjusting and trying to do it like really subtly, so I don't look like I was like playing with myself or something. And yeah, it was just really awkward, and I felt quite uncomfortable the entire time, and honestly it put me off for about, I think, at least a week. I didn't use it at all because I was worried about what had happened and stuff. But then once I did give it another try and I tested it out a little bit more, different kinds of underwear, that sort of thing, I found that it does work really well and it is really comfortable, so it's not as bad as the first time. But yeah, just be a bit more careful with that. If you're going to get it, test it out and use it and get used to it for a bit at home. Use different kinds of underwear, some tighter ones, some looser ones. Just basically be smart and avoid getting an awkward boner like I did. One other thing that I noticed, which is kind of a bad point but can't really be avoided, and it's not actually the pouch's fault, is that when I wear it, my binder tends to ride up a little bit. So I wear a GC2B binder, and this is the swim binder, so it's like a, not really slippy, but a little bit sort of slippy swimsuit material, so you can really swim in it. But when I'm packing, normally I would, before I got this, I would wear a packer inside of some underwear, and then I would put my binder over the top of that, and then I would put another pair of boxers on top. So it'd be like a sandwich with my binder in the middle. And I think that was good for the fact that, one, it held the packer in place with the binder, and also the material of my pants stopped the binder from like moving, and then the pants on top also stopped it from moving. Whereas this now, I've lost a layer. I've literally got, I just pull my binder down just onto me, and then have my pants with this on top. And I think the combination of this moving and that I don't have the pair of pants and that sort of sandwich thing holding the binder in place, it does tend to roll up, and a lot of times it sort of makes the moves a little bit more obvious, which can be pretty shitty on quite dysphoric days. There's not really much I can do about it. It's not massive, like it doesn't just make the binder redundant, it just means that it does move up and doesn't flatten quite as well, and for me it's noticeable. Obviously I think most people wouldn't really notice, but yeah, just worth noting that if you do wear a GC2B or a full tank binder that like pulls down past your hips, that this might make it ride up a little bit. Again, I don't know if it's just my binder specifically, or my situation. Yeah, just bear that in mind. Last thing is packaging. So this is the packaging. There's a few things that were in there, and I will show you that in just a second. So that's the address that it came from, and there's no company name on it as far as I know. And then on the back side, under what it's listed as, it says fabric pouch. Nice, not really a lie. And it's signed, and that's pretty much it. So I would say that that's definitely discreet packaging because it has no company name on it, so there's no way you can like Google the company. And it's listed as a fabric pouch, not like a packer pouch or anything that could possibly give it away. And it came in this little plastic pouch with the little Get Your Joey logo thing, and a little piece of paper that's got instructions, like a little bit of information about the company. So it says, Get Your Joey I can't read. It says, Get Your Joey began through a friendship between a trans man and an ally who are both committed to supporting trans population and to create problem solving. Joeys are produced in Canada by trans seamsters who are paid fair wages. Good. It's always good to be paid fairly. Get Your Joey exists to provide dignity and personal resources for the FDM population, create comfortable, affordable alternatives to packing, spread awareness and pride in a pragmatic way. Don't know what that word means, with language that is neutral and affirming. So that's pretty cool. And then it says how to use your Joey. So it says to use your Joey. Turn the pouch inside out, insert packer so that it fits comfortably in the bottom and the shaft hangs out of the hole. Turn it back out, pin the Joey into any briefs, boxers, swimsuit, etc. with a solid panel facing your skin. The pin should be attached to the bottom edge of the waistband of your briefs. Enjoy! So very, very simple. Like I explained, it says to turn it inside out. Honestly, I prefer not to. Depending on the packer you're using, if it's a little bit bigger, like Olympia's quite small, so it's not an issue getting that into the hole of the shaft and stuff. But if you've got like a bigger shafted packer, then maybe it would be beneficial to turn it inside out. But for the Mr. Olympia, it don't really make a difference to me. So yeah, that's pretty much all that I've got to say about this. I think I've covered everything that I wanted to cover. Overall, I do really, really like this. It's got a few little points that are like, not bad, but not great, and it's got its advantages and disadvantages. It's really good for certain situations. I actually really enjoy sleeping with this. I generally sleep with the Miss Olympia anyway, but this just makes it even more comfortable, and you can use this with like any type of underwear or just in any situation really, which is really good. It's really versatile. So yeah, overall I do really enjoy this. I will continue using this quite a lot because I do find it a lot more comfortable than using two pairs of underwear. For my other packers, obviously I will still need to use other pairs of underwear because they're not compatible with this. But especially if this is just a nice break, if I'm sick of wearing two pairs of underwear, I can just go back to this and wear my Olympia. So yeah, I really like it. And yeah, like I said, that's pretty much all that I wanted to cover. I think I've pretty much covered everything. If there is anything that I missed out or a question that you want to ask about it, please feel free to comment down below. And as always, if you enjoyed the video or found it helpful at all, please give it a thumbs up. Also, subscribe down below to see more from me. I upload a new video. Before, it was every single Sunday, but I am actually going to change my upload day. It's not a massive difference. I'm just not going to upload on Sundays anymore. I'm going to upload on Thursdays. So now I upload a video every single Thursday, and also hit that bell button to be notified when I upload a new video. And if you want to, you can follow me on social media, all on the screen now. It's all Jay's Journey FTM. If you want to ask me any questions about this, if you ever want advice, or you just want somebody to chat to, feel free to DM me on any of those things. And yeah, so thank you for watching, come on my journey, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Bye.